Well, building a family can be an amazing journey, but for some women and couples trying to conceive a baby could present some challenges that could lead to infertility issues. The positive news is there is hope. Joining us now with more insight to this issue is Mindy Berkson, the founder of the first fertility consultancies in the nation, which is really hard to believe that we weren't talking about this like, even 20 or 30 years ago. Very interesting. Good morning to you.
Well, thank you for having me, Allison. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Have the attitudes changed a bit to infertility and the challenges that come with trying to have a family?
I think attitudes have drastically changed over the past decade in that infertility has become less stigmatized. People are talking about it more and more, and as new technologies and opportunities are available for women to help with treatment, there's just so much more hope available that I think women are now talking more about this issue.
We've already said that you're a well-known fertility expert, but this was personal to you at a certain point. Can you tell us about your background a little bit?
It was. My background was, I started actually in venture capital, and the day my daughter was born, I said, oh, thank God I never have to write another business plan. But soon after that, I found myself as a patient in the infertility world, and it took me 3.5 years to conceive my twins. So that was 15, 16, and 17 years ago that I walked through this industry as a patient, but really where I found my passion for this industry.
Wow. And there are some new technologies out there. Can you just tell us what couples can look forward to today if they're facing the same challenges?
Well, first and foremost, couples need to realize they really need a diagnostic workup. It is so important to have a diagnostic workup from a reproductive endocrinologist, a specialist who can really help you set your course of treatment. Once you set your course of treatment, then their options are like egg donation, surrogacy, sperm donation, or a combination of any of those. There's also options such as egg freezing for women who aren't quite ready to start their families yet.
I have talked to couples, women, and what you always hear is, it's not cheap. You know what I mean? It's just, so your heart is into something, but the finances might not be where where you are as far as ready to plan your family. But there are also ways that you can pay for all this.
There are ways to finance treatment, and especially when we're talking about treatments like surrogacy, where treatment is so expensive. But I always suggest that first you start with your insurance benefits. And by the way, all of this is outlined for you in a complimentary ebook that's available on the homepage of my website, lotusblossomconsulting.com. But start with your insurance company. There's questions in that ebook that you should be asking your insurance company to determine what your coverage is. Sometimes there's opportunities at fertility centers to finance your fertility treatment. So that's very specific per fertility center. New to my program at Lotus Blossom Consulting are options to finance surrogacy this year. And then, of course, there's people who choose to borrow from savings or their 401k plans, or they're selling off stocks. And I always advise my clients to talk to a tax professional because there are tax implications involved with that, and or penalties that they need to be aware of up front.
Do you also talk in the ebook and on the website talk about choosing that right, I think you mentioned an endocrinologist, a physician for you with this journey? How important is that?
It is very important to find the right doctor to suit your individual diagnosis. So I always recommend that my clients interview at least 2 or 3 doctors in order to find the right fit for them, and ask very specific questions pertaining to their specific diagnosis and what are success rates at this clinic given my diagnosis.
Bottom line, if you're diagnosed with infertility, there is hope for you.
There's tremendous hope, and it's all about finding the right resources to get through your cycle. And I always recommend using an infertility consultant such as myself to help you navigate that journey.
Okay. We should say that Mindy stopped by. No scheduled appearances as far as lectures or anything like that, but here in our area helping couples with this very problem. So we thank you for stopping by Fox 5 today. All right, this is Mindy Berkson, infertility consultant with Lotus Blossom Consulting. And if you can go to our website, myfoxdc.com, to get connected to the ebook that Mindy talked about, and her website.